The Inca Empire was a marvel of engineering and administration. They built thousands of miles of roads, perfected terrace farming, and managed a diverse population of millions without written language. Truly impressive stuff. And when faced with a catastrophic drought, a devastating earthquake, or the death of an emperor, they turned to their ultimate problem-solving tool: sending a child up a mountain. This elaborate ritual, known as the Capacocha, wasn't a fringe activity. It was state-sponsored, meticulously planned, and considered absolutely essential for keeping the universe from falling apart. Because when the cosmic machinery starts sputtering, the best lubricant is apparently a perfectly preserved 10-year-old. To understand this, you have to get that for the Inca, the world wasn't just rocks and dirt. Everything was alive. Mountains were powerful deities called Apus. The earth itself was Pachamama. These weren't metaphors. They were active, demanding gods who needed to be paid. Everything was a transaction, a sacred reciprocity called Aini. You give to the earth gives back. And if you need something big, like say the sun to not extinguish itself, you have to make a big payment. The most valuable thing an empire could offer wasn't gold or textiles. It was a pure, unblemished human life, the ultimate deposit into the divine bank account. The children chosen for the Capacocha weren't prisoners or slaves, just the opposite. They were selected from across the empire for their physical perfection. No blemishes, no scars, often the children of local lords and chieftains. Giving your son or daughter was the highest honor a family could achieve. It secured your family's status for generations and elevated your child to the status of a god. It was the ultimate expression of loyalty and piety, a sort of cosmic college admissions program where the acceptance letter was a one-way ticket to a 22,000-foot-high campus. Your kid wasn't just dead, they were a divine guardian, a much better talking point at family gatherings. Once chosen, the child and their family began a pilgrimage that could span hundreds, even thousands of miles. They walked all the way to the capital, Cusco, the heart of the empire. This wasn't a somber death march. It was a procession met with reverence and celebration in the villages they passed. Imagine the logistics, organizing food, shelter, and security for a cross-country journey, all for the purpose of a ritual sacrifice. The Inca were brilliant administrators, and they applied the same meticulous planning to their human resources department as they did to road construction. Every detail was accounted for. Upon arriving in Cusco, the children were treated like deities in training. They met the emperor, the Sapa Inca himself, the living son of the sun god. There were massive feasts, public ceremonies, and endless cups of chicha, a potent corn beer. The entire capital celebrated these children who were about to save them all. It's a jarring contrast, a citywide party whose guests of honor are on their way to be ritually frozen. After the festivities, the final journey began. The child, along with priests and officials, would depart Cusco for the designated mountain, a holy huaca chosen for the ceremony. The climb to the summit was the final, grueling stage. We're talking about volcanoes like Ampato or Lulayaco, which are over 20,000 feet high. That's higher than any point in the continental U.S. Breathing is a conscious effort. The cold is relentless. The priests accompanying the child were specialists, acclimatized to the altitude. They carried everything needed: food, ceremonial objects, and the child, who was likely already feeling the severe effects of altitude sickness. They constructed small stone shelters and platforms near the summit, preparing the final resting place with the same precision they built their temples. The end itself was surprisingly peaceful, almost clinical. There was no bloody, violent altar scene. The child was given more chicha, a powerful sedative, until they fell into a deep sleep. They were dressed in the finest textiles, surrounded by offerings, gold statuettes, pottery, bags of coca leaves. Then they were gently placed in a small, tomb-like chamber dug into the mountain. Curled up as if sleeping, they would succumb to hypothermia in the freezing temperatures. The Inca didn't so much kill them as they engineered a situation where death was the inevitable, peaceful outcome. It's a level of calm, procedural horror that's uniquely human. And because of the freezing, dry conditions, some of these children were preserved almost perfectly. In 1999, archaeologists discovered 3 mummies on the summit of Luyayalco who have told us more than any text ever could. There's the 13-year-old maiden, a younger boy, and a girl struck by lightning after her death. Scientific analysis of their hair, which grows over time, provided a detailed timeline of their last year. It shows a dramatic shift in diet from simple potatoes to elite foods like maize and llama meat, indicating the exact moment they were chosen. We can literally read the story of their elevation and final journey written in their biology. It's history, recorded in keratin. In the Incan worldview, these children didn't truly die. They became divine intermediaries, messengers who could speak directly to the mountain gods on behalf of their people. They were eternal guardians, watching over their communities from the highest possible vantage point. A pretty significant promotion. They went from mortal child to immortal deity. Of course, when the Spanish conquistadors showed up and heard about this practice, they were utterly horrified, which is wonderfully ironic, coming from the culture that perfected the art of burning people alive for disagreeing about theology. Humans have always been exceptionally good at finding divine justifications for doing terrible things. The Capacocha ritual is easy to dismiss as monstrous barbarism, and it is monstrous, but it wasn't chaotic or born of bloodlust. It was the logical endpoint of a deeply held worldview, a system of cosmic accounting where the ultimate price had to be paid for the ultimate security. It was the state deploying its most precious resource to solve its most existential problems. It's a chilling reminder that the most terrifying things in history are rarely done by monsters. They're done by organized, rational people who believe they are doing what is necessary. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more historical insights. Thanks for watching, nerds!